Rent assistance heats up, but how much would you get under a second stimulus package, and how soon will you receive it? Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a second stimulus check and stimulus package update for today. This one about rent assistance, that incredible series of bills that are currently in the Senate and the House that propose to give you grants, rent money, utilities, protection for eviction moratoriums, and more under a second stimulus package. Big news today about the future of it, and it's a little bit extenuated. Boy, let me get right to it. The bottom line is we have dead silence from the Republicans about rent assistance today, and it's really quite peculiar. This recording is being made at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and ultimately we may have a different answer by the end of today. What happened was the Republicans were supposed to debut their second stimulus package on Monday. They told us that. It had been written by Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary to Donald Trump, and Mitch McConnell over the last couple of weeks. And we were going to see the future of rent assistance or rent grant programs and eviction moratoriums in that bill. Monday came, it didn't debut. Tuesday came, it didn't debut. Wednesday, the Democrats started saying, "Where is your darn bill? I want to see where the rent assistance is." Thursday morning, Steve Mnuchin spoke to press generally, but not with specifics, about what's in the second stimulus package, and press leaked alleged parts of the Republicans' proposal for a second stimulus package. Nowhere in there was rent assistance. So is rent assistance dead from a purpose of a Republican position? We really don't know. But we do know this, and it's not partisan. The Republicans really can't agree upon anything. A leading Republican out of Alabama said, hold up, you are not going to see a Republican second stimulus package today, Thursday. I don't even think you're going to see it till Monday, because we can't agree, and how dare them think that two people are going to write a bill for the entire Republican Party. Not going to happen. The Democrats fully see that the Republicans can't agree upon things like rent assistance, rent grants, eviction moratorium. So I really can't tell you what's going on with the Republicans right now. What I can tell you is that the Republicans, namely the White House, issued a statement minutes ago from the communications director for the White House that said, you know what, we're going to do separate bills. Like, LALATE, what are you talking about, separate bills? More bills now? Yes, separate bills. They're proposing to have separate bills for a second stimulus package, not just one big package. And so the White House says that the White House wants to have emergency bills for unemployment, for schools, and for universities. But nowhere in there was an emergency bill for rent assistance and eviction moratoriums, which is really quite strange and not reassuring. If you're thrown on the... Oh, and they also want one for stimulus checks. People are being thrown on the street, administration, people being thrown on the street, they're being evicted. We need an emergency bill for that right now. It's very strange. And so on the other side, the Democrats said, hey, we don't like that. We just want one stimulus package, and we do it all together, and we don't want a piecemeal, using their exact words. But I don't like what the Democrats are saying about that, because they're basically saying we're going to sit around and figure this out and not get it passed until August 7th, August 8th, and August 9th or 10th. Bottom line is, as we sit here today, we don't know if the Republicans are going to have no proposal for rent assistance or are. Ultimately, I don't want you to lose faith, because what happens is that the two bills are combined, or the 20 bills, if we're heading that way, are combined as one, and they're negotiated in the House and the Senate. It's not like the Republicans get one say and one say only, and it's not like the Democrats do either. The two bills are combined and they're negotiated together. At the moment, we have a couple of bills on the floor that have been introduced that provide assistance for rent, and these are federal bills, so let me go over them. There is the HEROES Act, which is currently in the Senate from the House, that proposes to give you a lot of stuff, a lot of great stuff. The first is free rent. So this would be free rent that you would apply for to a federal program. The money would be routed from the federal program to your landlord. You wouldn't have to worry about it. It would pay your rent every month for a couple months. You would do the same for utilities. It would route it to your utilities company so you wouldn't be displaced, you wouldn't be made homeless, and you wouldn't be kicked on the street. There's a similar program that the program would also protect the landlord making their bills, because the landlord would get all their rent paid. So they wouldn't lose their building to foreclosure because they couldn't pay their bills. Next, it would help the banks, because the banks wouldn't be picking up a lot of foreclosed buildings, which they don't want to do. They want to have people pay their mortgages. So it would ensure that mortgages are paid. Next, it would protect against bad things happening. And those bad things are evictions, foreclosures, and things like that. First, it would prevent anyone from evicting you during the pandemic until the pandemic's over. I mean, that's absolutely what we need. I mean, that's emergency. That's right now. Hello, Earth to Mars. That's right now. People are being evicted in a record number. I mean, why are we talking about anything else but unemployment, rent assistance, hazard pay, stimulus check? Get them done right now. I mean, there's absolutely emergency. Next, it would prevent any foreclosure against buildings. So if you're an apartment building owner, you would not be foreclosed against by your bank. Third, it would protect foreclosure of single-family residences. So if you own your home, you live at home, and you're afraid you can't make your mortgage, am I going to lose in the pandemic? No. Great news. It would protect you from foreclosure from your bank. That is one proposal. Another proposal is the Elizabeth Warren plan. And that proposes something a little bit more comprehensive. It basically says you can't evict anyone until late 2021. And it's really quite incredible. What's great about it is that currently only 50% of U.S. states have eviction moratoriums in place. So landlords are evicting people in record numbers that no one has ever seen in U.S. history. The last case we ever saw about this was during the last recession, where the eviction numbers were about 5 to 10 million over several years. It's currently at 10 to 20 million over a couple of weeks. Landlords are rushing to court in record numbers to do evictions in states where they can, but in states like Delaware, where they have a moratorium against evictions until 2021, they can't. That's great news. California, they've extended the eviction moratorium in a couple of weeks, but some states don't have it. Next, what we do see today, and I said at the beginning of this video, we don't have a grant program from the Republicans. We do see provisions leaked in a memo today that says Republicans propose a lot of money being given to states, fortune to be given to states. The good part of that is that would be allocated for things like rent. And here's what I always try to hit on a regular basis on this video, because it's a little bit complicated. I just talked about one rent program. There's another rent program. States are given millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars under the first stimulus package so that they can hand it out to their citizens for rent. It's different than a federal rent program. It's a state rent program, but the money came from the federal government. Well, the good news is that the leaked memos today suggest the Republicans' proposal for the second stimulus package includes lots and lots and lots of money for states so that they can disperse money to their citizens in the form of rent money. That is great news. The clarity of it, we don't know. There's some parts of it I want you to be on high alert about, because I give you the bad and I give you the ugly. The ugly is that under the first stimulus package, states that had counties that didn't have a lot of citizens in them were not included. There were parts of these bills that said if the counties were very unpopulated, they weren't eligible for things like rent money, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's like, why are we kicking those people out of the program? That was the first thing. The second one was a lot of the grant programs were dependent upon 2019 earnings. So if you, made a living last year and made, let's say, $70,000, but are now unemployed, about to be thrown on the street, can't make rent, have no savings, haven't had a job for several months, you're essentially screwed, because these programs are all based upon 2019 earnings. So I don't know where we're going with these proposals, if they will be based upon 19 earnings and things like that, which really scares me for viewers of this channel. If you're facing eviction and you happen to make a few dollars last year, these programs may not help you. ultimately, what I have detailed for you is that states have grant programs, but the Democrats are just hitting it like a hammer. We don't want this to expire next Friday, says Mnuchin about unemployment benefits. He's so out of touch. Hello, Stevie. States have stopped paying the $600 of FPUC this Monday. He thinks FPUC is expiring from a state perspective next week. Well, states have stopped paying it already. It's not a difficult concept. You don't get paid to stay more at stay home than you don't have to have a job. But the Democrats are saying, get to the ball. Let's get this done. Our Republican colleagues have been so divided, so disorganized, and so unprepared that they've had to struggle even drafting a partisan proposal with their own conference before they talk to a single Democrat, says Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on the Senate floor. It appears the Republican legislative to COVID-19 is ununified, unserious, and unsatisfactory. He's absolutely correct. And ironically, the Republicans don't disagree with Schumer. What's going on, if you're not grasping it, and I covered it in the other video, but I'm going to say it right now as well, is that the Republican proposal for the second stimulus package was being drafted by Steve Mnuchin and Mitch McConnell, and apparently the other Republicans got wind of it, maybe for this channel, because I've been reporting it every day, and they said, hold up. Who woke up and made you king? You're not the one writing a bill for me. I'm going to say what I want in the bill. And so all these Republicans are coming to this table saying, no. I don't want Mitchie to write the bill for me. I don't agree with Mitch's politics. Apparently Mitch's fan club is getting very, very small among the Republicans very quickly. And so they're all coming to the table saying, no, I'm not agreeing to this. I'm not agreeing to this. And so the Republicans can't actually agree upon anything of putting things on paper. All they can talk about is what they want to vocalize, but getting it on a piece of paper, we shall see. I mean, I'm recording at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Maybe we'll see the bill later today. Ultimately, the thing I want you to understand is that as I'm sitting here right now, I don't see an emergency bill for rent. So if you are having problems making rent right now and you're facing eviction, please Google your state and see if there's an eviction moratorium in place for your state, your county, or your city. I don't want you to be evicted. I care for you and I worry that you're going to be evicted. I want you to be informed whether or not there's a protection against you being evicted. Next, if there is no protection against eviction, you need to prepare accordingly because your landlord could evict you in the time in which a second stimulus package gets approved. I don't want to give you false hope. I don't want you to think that there's going to be money coming to you in rent assistance in the next 3 days, because it's just not. It's absolutely not. So I'm never going to sell you some snake oil like that. Just not happening. Rent assistance programs could get approved, but the urgency is not there so far. There's no fast track to getting it approved so far. And so if you need money literally this week, I ask you to really look at your city, your county, your state to see if those programs are in place. Yesterday, I asked and I saw incredible, great response. I mean, this gives warmth to my heart. I asked people who have problems with computers, don't have internet, don't have a sophisticated cell phone, that if they don't know if there's rent programs in where they live, to just post a comment and ask for someone else in the comments to help them. And other people did. That's what's so incredible. People said, I don't have access to a computer. I don't have Wi-Fi. Can someone look up if there's a rent program from where I live? And people were sharing it with one another. So if you see the comments below today's video and you see there are people asking for help, if there's a rent program in where they live, please try to respond to them. Rather than comment about my hair or my shirt or the chopper going overhead or Mitch and his problems, try to maybe help someone else in the comments today and share and help them. I mean, that's the spirit of this channel. On a personal note, I really thank everyone. This channel, either today or tomorrow, will reach 100,000 subscribers, all within 100 days. No time in the history of YouTube have I ever heard of a channel reaching 100,000 subscribers in less than 100 days. It's all because of this channel helping one another, you helping one another, us keeping positive, keeping motivated, and keeping happy during a very austere and horrible time in American history. I thank you for your help. I encourage you to stay with me as we move through this. The next couple of weeks is going to be very, very strange. We're going to see a lot of confusion, a lot of hot air, more than a balloon over Albuquerque with a lot of colors. And I hope that you stay with me as we stay with this together. As always, stay with LA for more.